doing a cost per item, right? We don't care for that right now. All we care is about finding the total amount of items that you have available, and you're going to find the average cost per item. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and dive into question 9. All right, and this time we're doing weighted average. Okay, so let me see. All right, everything looks good here. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull the next scenario in. So we just answered that one. Now question 9, all right? Your inventory method is periodic weighted average. Assume that all purchases were made on an account. Round to the nearest penny. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So what happened on October 5th?
800 toys at $1 was purchased.
Okay, 45. All right, so here, October 5th, we have 800 toys at $1. And
Purchase price is 800.
good. And 45 is the freight. So what is my total here?
845.
Good. All right, and then do I need to solve for my cost per item?
No, because we're doing the weighted average.
Good, good. All right. Good. All right, so let's see what happened next. What happened on October 7th? Good. We returned 50 toys at for full refund. Okay. So we're going to come to the bottom of here. We want to actually return 50 items, and we're actually returning them. Now, what cost am I going to calculate this for? $1. So in this case, we need to return, we're going to return and get a refund for $50. All right. And I'm going to indicate it here. This was for the October 5th batch. All right. What happened next on October 10?
I purchased the 550 toys at $1.25.
Good. So on October 10, oops. Is this big enough for you guys to see?
Yes, for me it is.
Okay. At $1.25. So what is my total here?
$687.50.
687.50 is correct. All right. And then we got $30 of freight.
And that is $717.50.
$717.50. Okay, good. All right. What happened on October 15th?
An additional 1,050 toys was purchased at $1.50.
Okay, $50 freight. Okay, so here at October 15th, we got 1,050 at $1.50. So what is my total? Yes, $15.75, and my freight was $50. So what's my total here?
$16.25.
$16.25. All right. Okay. And then what happened on the 18th? Good. 150 toys are returned. But, however, what happened? Exactly, because they sent us the wrong toy, okay? However, they convinced us to say, you know what, you can sell this as a special model toy, whatever it is. So they convinced us to keep the items that we originally purchased, right? And they shipped us the wrong one. And we accept a 25% discount this time. So let's go ahead and solve for that. So we're gonna go back down here. Let's first see how much was each item cost. How much did I originally purchase them for? $1.50, correct, because this is assuming it's going to be the previous batch. So $1.50, right? And we're returning 150 items. But we're not really returning anything here. Okay, I'm going to make $1.50 to make a note here that this is the batch that we're taking from. And this time we are doing 150 times $1.50. And how much are we discounting it for? 25%. Okay, and what do you guys get here?
56.25.
Yes, 56.25. And I'm going to make a note here that I have it for the 15th of October. Okay. So then what else happened next? Another purchase of 300 at how much? Okay, and freight was 15. So this is 300 at 175. So 10, 20. 300 at $1.75. So what's my total here? Okay. And I think it was $15, right? Yes, $15. Okay, so what is my total here? 540. Good. Okay. All right. And then what happened on the 25th of October?
You return 50 defective toys for a full refund.
Okay, good. 50 defective toys for a full refund. 50. So we actually did a full 50. Now, what was the price I'm going to return them at?
Was it 175?
Correct, for $1.75, right? We're not including the freight because it's a separate charge. So, therefore, my total here is going to be, my total refund will be
87.50.
87 and 50 cents is correct. And I'm going to make a note that this was for the batch of 1020. Okay. All right. And what is the last thing I have here? Yes. You have ending inventory of 1,200 toys on hand. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in here so I know. So ending inventory is going to be for 1,200. All right. So let's go ahead and how do we solve for this? Yeah, yeah. How do you solve for the total items? Uh-huh. Okay. So in this case, let's solve for each one. So the total quantity is uh-huh. What's my total purchase price?
It's 358,750.
358,750. Okay. And what's my total freight?
140.
Oops. 140. And what's my total cost?
3727.
3727.50. So what is my potential average cost per item here?
We have to deduct 100 from 2700.
Uh-huh. By
And
the
divide it.
mhm.
We have to adjust the returns and divide it.
Yes. So you can have the option to solve for it now, but because we do have returns and allowances, it's going to have us readjust this number right here. So this number is not adjusted yet. This is the current average cost per item. However, we need to adjust it for the extra returns and allowances that we have. So let's go ahead and just fill in our table now, and we will go ahead and solve for that. So I originally purchased 2,700 items, which cost me $35.87.50. All right. And then let's go ahead and calculate my total returns and allowances. So how many total items did I return? We returned 100, right? And what was the full amount that we returned?
193.75.
193.75. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cell reference that right now. Okay, so now that we have our returns, okay, so now we're going to find our subtotals. So what is our new total if we started with 2,700, but we subtracted 100 items? Yes, 2,600, right? Same thing's going to apply over here. What is my difference between, what is my new balance now?
3393.75.
239, okay, let me, 33, yeah.
333.
Yep, there you go. All right. Freight does not increase my inventory number, but it increases my total cost. So what was my total for freight?
335. 3533.75.
Okay, you already added it already, right? And you said it was 33.
No, 3533.
3533. Okay, so let me go ahead and expand that real quick. Okay, so 3533.75. Okay. Now we do not have any beginning inventory, so we can safely bring down this right here. And now because we're adding 0 to this, we're going to get the same number here, 3533.75, for a grand total of 2,600 items. Now this is where you can recalculate your new average cost per item, because now we've adjusted it with our purchase returns and allowances. So this is what we have available, and this is exactly how we're going to cost it. So I'm going to go ahead and go up to this bubble here, and I'm going to solve for my average cost per item. So what numbers am I going to be using?
3533.75 divided by
Uh-huh.
2600.
Good, good. And I should get this long number here of 1.35913 for blah, 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 ongoing. Okay. So now that we solved for the new average cost per item, which is from here, what is our cost of goods sold? What is my quantity for cost of goods sold?
1,400.
Yes, 1,400. So, because we solved for the new average cost per item here, we can automatically take our 1,400 here and multiply them across. And what is our total cost of inventory, total cost of goods sold for the 1,400 items?
1,902 cents 79.
Yeah, 1902.79 is our answer. 1902.79 is our answer. All right. And what is my ending balance going to be here?
1630.96.
1630.96 is correct. So, as you can see, out of all the three costing methods, this one is the easiest one to get because you're not dealing with the which batches come first. You're just dealing with an overall number. And the way we calculated it was the easiest way to calculate it, and it's the easiest way to memorize it as well. And you're going to commonly see this one widely used more often than the other two methods, okay? So here we found an average cost per item by taking the total quantity available over the total cost available, right? We took our goods available and we found our new cost per item. And because it doesn't matter, because this is utilizing all 2,600 items, right? And we're calculating, it doesn't matter how many items we sell or what batch we're taking out of. We could choose either doing ending inventory or cost of goods sold, and boom, we get here our answer right there. Simple, easy, straightforward. Any questions in regards to learning weighted average?
No, ma'am.
All right. So, yes, go ahead, Lynette.
Yes, with ending balance there,
Uh-huh.
could just calculate 1,200 times the unit cost, or can you just subtract the goods available minus the cost of goods sold? Would it end up the same, or you have to calculate per item, or you just subtract?
So if you do the calculate per item, right? If I were to do that, right? And let's see, what was it for 1,200 items? If I were to do this, this is just to ensure that you got a similar or if not answer that is close to it, okay? The reason why is because this is where rounding comes into an issue. If you round too early or if you round too late, or to like you round under, you have the potential right here to lose a penny. All right? And that's what a lot of most common mistakes that a lot of people do is they assume that, oh, if I were to take the average cost per item here, right? This isn't a round number, right? We had to round this number. If I rounded this number down, right? Or let's say I put 78 and I were to solve for this one, I would have gotten 8 and 6, and that equals 74 cents. So that is where rounding does come into play, and it does mess up with a lot of things. So the most suggested solution to do this is to actually take your goods available and subtract one of the answers. Okay? Because if you solve for both of it just like this, and you round too short or round too early, you will get that 1 penny off. Okay? And you would find that out by journalizing. When you journalize it, you're going to find that you're 1 penny off. Okay, remember, our debits must match our credits. So you would find that missing penny somewhere.
Lynn,
Yes.
I know this is like a trivial question, and
Uh-huh.
I asked you last night.
Uh-huh.
Just my inquisitive mind wants to know, why do we have to round? Why can't we just leave it as is? Why do we have to round up or down? Because
Um,
when it says 1.359, why can't we just leave it at the 1.35?
you can do that. And if you do that, so let's go ahead and test your theory. If we were to just round at 1.35, right? See this number? It says it's 1902.79, right? If I do that, I round up and now it is 1890 even. Now, if you do that, the only error or potential that you have there is you may be costing your goods sold too high and you're going to lose your profit there.
Okay.
That is the only assumption that comes into play. Now, look at me. I'm selling thousands and thousands of items. If I want to make that executive decision to just start rounding everywhere, I need to be consistent. And that means if I'm willing to make that small sacrifice, right? If a thousandth of a penny doesn't make a difference to me, then I will make that executive decision to round right here at the nearest penny when costing a good sold. Now, at the end of the day, whatever that you've purchased, it's going to zero out anyway. But this is looking at a profit standpoint and a costing standpoint, right? So by looking at this kind of typical business, it hurts if I sell 1,000 items and I round too early. So in
Well,
this, go ahead.
rounding, it's like, for me, it's not even rounding, because I know that conventionally it says to round up and or down. Just my curiosity is, why do we have to round up and or down at all if it's just, it's just 135? Why do we have to, because it's a 9, we have to go up, or if it's a 4, we have to go down? Does that make any sense?
Yes and no. I see what you're trying to get at. And again, it is based on the accountant. If the accountant tells you, hey, I want you to round all the numbers. I don't care. I want every single thing rounded. You don't have very many options. You have to round. Now, this, for my benefit for you, is to understand what happens if you do not round. So in this case, because we rounded to the nearest penny, we actually increased our cost, meaning we lost a profit right there.
Gotcha.
Okay? Now, I'm just looking at a business standpoint and seeing what makes my company run beneficial. Now, you do have the option, if you are the accountant, to choose whether to round or not. And I'm also going to, when we move into our fictitious business, I'm going to ask you, not you per se, but the class, I'm going to ask you guys, when we're dealing with inventory, do you want to round to the nearest penny for the cost per item? And we have done it before, right? So because with the class, right, I'm going to have you guys be the accountant, so you guys make the executive decision. But you have to do a formulated decision as a class. Okay? So in this case, what this was unrounded. Okay, so here we rounded down, right? You said 1.35. So in this case, it actually benefited us if we stopped at 5. But because it is a 9 right after, we would have to make the assumption that it's actually 1.36. So because that tenth of a penny and the number after that and the number after that are all small numbers, that's where you're going to lose your potential money there. So in this case, what is this? 1902? if you do 3.6, now you're at 19.04. You just lost $2. Yeah. Yeah, you just lost $2 profit. And imagine this, if you're selling 10,000 items, that $2 will easily become 200. Okay? So
So,
this, yeah.
so there are moments where rounding up and or down is beneficial.
Yes.
Really.
I know that, for example, for major corporations, right, the easiest way to just have numbers look sound is to just round, right? You never ever see a report that has 2,000 or $200 million and something cents. You already have it nice and sound and rounded to the nearest dollar. Okay? And then they obviously are going to be rounding their numbers. Now, again, it can hurt you profit wise, but look at Walmart. Do you think they care about $200? No, they sell a billion other products that could be easily be able to make up for that $200. Exactly. And they're a $1 billion company, so those kind of costs don't even care to us. But because we're looking at a small business standpoint, if we have not enough money, you want to be careful and you want to cost things a lot smartly. Okay, and then we don't learn it in this class. It's going to be when you move into more advanced level of accounting. So if you go into managerial accounting, that's where you're going to learn the difference between finding the least amount of cost to benefit your company by selling the product for a higher profit. Okay, but in this case, all our main focus here is just understanding how to calculate inventory. All right, so you can choose to either round now or round towards the end. And in this case, because we're a small business, that $200 is actually very hurtful to me. That losing that extra $2 does affect my business, and it affects it because if I'm selling more than just toys, that will make a huge difference for the company. All right, that $2 extra could have gone towards advertising expense, something else, right?
Gotcha. Because
Every penny counts. But in this case, I just want you to round to the nearest penny towards the end, because when you journalize, you can't sell me an item for a tenth of a penny. Okay? But yes, hope that answers and clarifies your question.
Another one.
Yes.
What is the regular what is now decimal point? Because I'm looking at your calculation. There are up to 6. There are some that are up to 8.
I just expanded my window so you know that this isn't a rounded number, as in that my calculation here or this number here, right? I want you to physically see that it's not just 1.36. It's actually 1.35434462. Okay? And especially for those who are not using Excel, you're not able to cell reference. You have to punch this in your calculator. And if you go one number too short, you're gonna end up getting a couple pennies off. But your ending value, so for example, my total cost needs to be rounded to the nearest penny. Okay, but I just wanted to explain to Adina what happens when you do end up leaving the you rounded your decimal. Yeah.
No, what I meant is not rounding off, but with that calculation, you have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 decimal points. What the proper? Is it up to 6 decimal points or 8 decimal points or what?
It's your worksheet. Or if you're talking about calculating, I want you to keep this long number in your calculator and just calculate proceeding forward. But if you are looking visually, I would recommend at least up to 4 decimal points. It doesn't have to be this extensive. Like as long as you can see, okay, so here's 2 decimal points. Maybe it depends. Maybe up to the third or fourth one should be good. Visually. But you know, in most cases with Excel, you can actually just hide it, right? You can just hide it and just only place 2 decimal points. So here it shows me it's 1.36, but I know it's not 1.36. Okay? It's whatever you visually think looks better. And I would think 2 decimal places would look better because you're dealing with money, right? You can't display a tenth of a penny, but you know it exists. Okay? Any other questions? No? Okay, so here I changed it back so we're looking at our actual precise cost per, cost of goods sold. So here I have 1902.79. All right, so there you go. And again, we're going to practice our conversion entry. So what am I converting into as of October 31st?
The ending inventory.
What did we buy?
There's an ending inventory, I think.
Toys.
Yes. Okay. Remember, be specific, especially when you're buying specific items, because ultimately, if you shove everything into inventory, you would have no association of what you actually bought. Cost of goods, goods sold. All right. What else do I have to incur or journalize? Mm-hmm.
Returns and allowance.
Yes, purchase returns and allowances. Yes. Right. And then what are my credits here?
Just expense and freight.
Yes. Because ultimately, what are we doing?
Month.
We are converting from an expense to inventory. All right. So, what is my total debits for my ending inventory? 1630.96, and I forgot to do the equal sign, so I forgot to cell reference. So here, oh, wrong one. There you go. 1630.96. And what is my cost of goods sold? 1902.79. What was my total returns and allowances?
193.75.
193.75. And what is my total purchases that I've made?
35.87.50.
35,850. And what was my total freight?
140.
140. All right, and if I were to equal up these both sides to just ensure that I correctly journalize this, do they match on each side? Yes. 37.27.50. Yay. All right. Okay, so now we're going to do our last problem, which is going to continue the last scenario. So this is the last part of this exercise. So let's go ahead and get started. So number 11, Okay, continue the inventory from question 9. From question 9. Your inventory method is periodic and weighted average. Round to the nearest penny. Okay. So here on October 31st, you have 1,200 toys at, 1,200 toys on hand. So let's go ahead and pull this forward. Okay. So I know I have 1,200 items. Okay. Now, what is going to be my cost per unit? Cost per item for those 1,200 items. Let me clear that out.
3591333.
Exactly. So let me go ahead and go back to my exercise 11, and I'm going to cell reference this right here. And what is my total going to be if I were to do that? All right, should be 1630.96, which we know for sure that is our total ending balance. All right, so I'm going to put total here. And okay, so let me go ahead and just copy this down here. All right, so what happened on November 5th?
600 purchase at 165.
Perfect, and freight is 25. So on November 5th, we purchased, was it 600?
Yeah.
Yeah, 600, okay, at $1.65. So what's my total here? $9.90, good. And my freight was $25.
Yes.
So that gives me a grand total of 1,015. Okay, do we need to solve for the cost per item?
No.
Not right now. Okay, good. Now let's go ahead and what happened next on November 7th?
Returned.
Returned 100 items, right, for full refund. So we're going to come down to the bottom here and we're returning 100 items, right? How much did it cost me? How much am I going to refund for?
165.
165, which gives me a total of 165. I don't know if you were okay. So 165, right? So now we need to make sure. I mean, we don't actually care for this one because it doesn't matter how many items that we don't care about batches anymore, right? We care for the total amount of items that we have and the total cost that we have. So we don't need to keep a reference point for that. So what happened next? Another purchase. 700 at $1.80. Okay. So here, November 10, 700 at $1.80. What's my total purchase price here? 1,260, and I believe freight here was $40. Yes, it was $40. So what is my total?
1.87. 1.857.
Oh, okay. I did not get that.
No. I'm telling you.
Okay, so 40 plus 60 gives you 1,300 even.
1,300
Mm-hmm.
divided by 700.
Oh no, you're gonna solve for your cost per item?
I was looking. That's what I was doing. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's why I was 1.87.
Now you can do it for practice measures so that you don't forget for the other two methods.
Don't practice. Yeah. Sorry.
But yes, good. Okay. So what happened next?
We purchased 500, well, that was on November 20th, right?
Yes, we just
Okay.
put in the 700 at 180.
Okay, so we purchased 500 toys at 185.
Okay, so we
Bringing
purchased,
that to, mhm,
was it 800?
500.
Let me see, we purchased 500 toys at 185. 500 toys at 185. And that
And
said
purchase 925.
925. Good. And my freight for this one was
Freight for that
$25.
one is
Did you want to look at it again?
no, that's fine. I'm
Okay.
good. And
Well, it's
so,
25. Good.
950.
yeah, 950.
950. Okay. All right. What happened next on the 21st of November?
There's a ton of 50 toys
Mm-hmm.
with a discount of 20%.
Okay, so we didn't actually return 50 items, but we do need to calculate for those 50 items returned with the 20% discount. So here we're gonna go back down to our bottom. Let's recognize how much we sold each item for, or how much each one that we purchased it for. So in this case, we're returning 50 items at what number? At $1.85, and we want 20%. Okay, so I got here $18.50. Can someone verify that with me?
That's what I got.
Perfect. Okay. And then what happened on the 25th of November?
Purchased 100 toys at $1.75.
Purchase 100 toys at $1.75. So November 25th. We purchased 100 toys at $1.75.
$175.
$175. Our freight, I believe, was $5.
180.
180. Okay, good. And then lastly, what happened last?
We have
We have
600 toys.
toys in here.
Exactly. Our ending balance is going to be 600 toys at the end of November 30th. So let's go ahead and go back here. And here, ending balance is 600. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and sum up each column. All right. So what do we get? How many items did we purchase in the total purchases in the month of November? 19. Yes, 1900 is correct. What is my total purchase price? $33.50. Let's expand that. Yes, $33.50 even, right? What is my total freight?
$95.
$95. And that gives us a grand total of
I just
$3,445 for the total cost?
yes, $3,445 is our total cost. Now you have the option. Do you need to sell for the average cost per item here, or do you want to wait till the end? Because we also have to deal with our beginning inventory as well. Okay. I'm gonna save it to the end, so we don't have to do extra calculations for no reason. Okay, so here we have 1900 at 3,350. All right. What is our total purchase returns and allowances? Oh,
100, and then it's 183.50.
okay, so it's 100 and 183.50. 183.50. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna come over here and we're gonna cell reference this. All right, 183.50. So what is our new total amount now that we've subtracted our returns and allowances?
3166.50.
1,800.
1,800 for the quantity and 3160
650.
66.50. Good. All right. Our freight has no effect on quantity, but it does have effect on total cost. So what was my total cost for my freight?
3,650.
3,000.
Wrong, I did 95, it's not, I did 90, not 95. So it's 3071.50.
3071.
50. Because if you're subtracting, you're subtracting 3150 from 95, right?
We're
And
adding.
95. Oh, we're adding?
Yes, every time you're looking at freight, right? We're trying to spread the freight across everything, so we're adding them together.
That was a brain fart.
No worries. That's why with this Excel, it kind of gives you indications on the side here. Do you see that plus sign next to freight?
I do. My question, like I said, I had a brain fart, but my question for you is when we do, um, if we were to go into our Excel, would all of that be on the side naturally, or is that just something for this particular course?
Now these are preset tables that were already made, and what I can do is I can provide this on the class for you guys to have.
Okay.
Okay.
So all of that was put in by you?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. These are again preset tables.
Heard.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then did we have beginning inventory? Yes, we did. For 1,200 items. How much did those 1,200 items cost me?
1,630.
It's 1,630 and 96 cents. All right. Then I'm going to pull down my net purchases. And what is my grand total now? Remember, we need to add them together. So we got 3,000. And what is my total cost here?
4,892.46.
4,892.40.6. 46. Yes. All right. What is our let's go ahead and solve for the average cost per item. So if we know that our new total cost is going to be 4,892.46 and our new goods available is 3,000. How do we solve for our new average cost per item?
It's 1.63082.
All right. I'm going to show that to demonstrate that this is not a rounded number. Okay. And then let's go ahead and solve. What is our cost of goods sold? How many items did we sell? We sold 2,400. Yes, we did. Okay. And in this case, you want to solve for ending inventory or cost of goods sold? Okay. So what is our grand total here if we were to calculate our cost of goods sold?
3913.968.
3913.968, which we can round up for, so 3968. Okay, so we can round up to 97. All right. And so by doing that, what is our total ending inventory?
978.49.
978.49 is correct. All right. So again, weighted average is by far one of the easiest concepts out of the three. You don't need to focus on which batch came first or which batch came last. All you care about is just gathering the grand total of the number of units that you have and divide it evenly across amongst every single item you have. So in this case, again, when we compared the three different types of costing methods, it really depends on what kind of business that you are. Would it benefit you better if you just average cost everything? It can, depending on what kind of product you sell. That way, instead of costing something too high or costing something too low, you kind of find a midpoint between them. So, and then this is most common, widely used, and for QuickBooks, even when you guys do move forward, you're only going to be looking at average costing. Okay. All right. So, yes. Yes.
When you do those returns and things like that or allowances,
Uh-huh.
do you always subtract it from the latest delivery?
Okay.
Or
In this assumption, right? So, we made a purchase on the 5th, the 10th, the 20th, and the 25th. Now, depending on, this is just an assumption, but depending on what the situation is, if you were to open up your inventory, right, and you found broken items. Now, if you find it within the next couple days, okay, yes, that sounds very plausible. But for example, let's say I waited till all the way to November 21st to say, oh, I actually opened up my last box of inventory to find out that I have 50 of those toys are broken. Now, and I say that I purchased it on the 5th of November. Now, does that make any sense that why would you wait 3 weeks after buying your inventory to find out that you have broken material?
No.
No. Then you have the assumption is that you're probably trying to fraud them by saying, "Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. 3 weeks later, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even check my inventory. I want a refund." Now, of course, with wholesalers, they are generous to you. They might accept your refund after 3 weeks. Heck, they might even give you unlimited amount of times you can refund, right? At any given time, as long as you know what's happening. But if you've making all these purchases, right? What the vendor's gonna look at is going to be your most recent one. They're gonna be like, well, it's been 3 weeks. You've made so many purchases from me. I'm gonna assume this is from the latest one that you bought. Because typically that's the one that you just shipped out, right? And then all of a sudden the next day you find out that you have broken material. Your only assumption is, okay, well, I can give you credit for the latest one that we bought. Now, that could actually work in your benefit, because what if I actually purchase those items expensive and I get that refund for that item? Of course, with more morals, right? You want to do the right thing and not try to return something that is that was less expensive than what you originally purchased it for. So, yes. But that assumption is it should be from the previous batch that you opened, because obviously the first thing that you should always happen is you need to do an inventory check. You need to make sure that you received every single item that you order. And if you're that like in detail or in depth, you can check to see if all the materials work. Okay. So yes, so this is an assumption that it happened from the previous purchase that you have bought. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and finish up our last thing that we need to do, which is our conversion entry. So we are converting as of, I think it was November 30th. All right. What are you going to journalize? Toys. Yes. Ending inventory toys. Good. What else are you going to be recording? Say that again.
Cost of
Cost of goods sold, right? Because we don't have that inventory item anymore, right? We need to make sure that we record what we sold. What else are we going to be recording?
purchase returns and allowances.
Correct. Purchase, returns, and allowances. And then what else are we going to have on our credit side?
Purchase expenses.
Purchase expense. Good.
Expenses.
Yes. And freight expense. Exactly. And we need to recognize our beginning inventory. Correct. So from here, what is my total debit I'm going to incur as of November 31st? What's my ending inventory?
978.49.
978.49. Okay. What is my total cost of goods sold?
3913.97.
391,397. Good. What was my total returns and allowances?
183.50.
183.50. All right. And then what is my total purchases?
3350.
3,350. Correct. And what is my total freight expense?
95.
95. And lastly, what was my beginning inventory?
1630.96.
1630.96. Let's double check if our accounting is correct by see if our debits match our credits. Okay, so I get 5075.96, and I get it on both sides. So success. I did my journal correct. All right. Any questions in regards to anything that we learned in an inventory? Okay. Any questions in regards to inventory, learning our weighted average, LIFO, or even FIFO, the one that we learned yesterday. Okay. All right, since it is 10 o'clock and I'm losing my voice, actually, it's 11 o'clock, right? This is actually, I'm going to leave up to chapter 6.1.2.3. I'm going to just leave that for tomorrow. And so we can start off the right foot with chapter 6 tomorrow. All right. So I'll let you guys go early if you guys don't have any other questions. Okay. Any other, even if it doesn't have to do with inventory per